99 questions about the college football season. Started as a countdown. We're getting close. I feel like I say this every day. I'm like the kid who's like, 47 more sleeps until Christmas.
Nope, that's me too.
99 questions about the college football season. We've been asking one per day since 99 questions before kickoff, and we're going to take it all the way up to the first college football game. Today's question is a part of ready for this? It's a series within a series.
Okay.
We're getting to seriesception. Biggest position need heading into the offseason, and what did they do to fill it? And did they fill it? Today we're going to focus on NC State. Tomorrow, either Duke or North Carolina. The next day, either Duke and North Carolina, whichever we don't. So we'll round out the week with a 3-part series within our series of 99 questions. Keeping up? All right. Biggest position need heading into the offseason, and did they fill it? NC State. This one's tough. Graham and I were talking off air. I'm not even sure we agree what their biggest position need was.
I don't think we do.
Now, first of all, I pretty much eliminated defense for this team.
Yeah,
because
Tony Gibson's got it.
Yeah, because it's Tony Gibson could take me and Graham and probably give up like 24 points a game.
And I get it. They lost Peyton Wilson. Nobody can replace Peyton Wilson, really.
No, but they can do it as a team, and Sean Brown like kind of switching positions, bring some of that athleticism. I'm eliminating defense because of Tony Gibson.
Aiden White as well. So
Aiden White's a beast. But
defense is good.
Corner, Devin Van. I mean, we could list more and more players. Offensively, though, what was their biggest need? I think there's 3 options here. 1, offensive line. 2, quarterback. 3, running back. Now, I tend to, and if you listen to the show, you know this, right? This is your friend that's always late saying like, hey, I'm a little, I'm busy. So yeah, we know you. I tend to lean quarterback on most answers. I think it's that important. I think it's that important above other positions. I played the position, so I don't pretend to be completely objective. But I think it's quarterback. I think if you look at where they were at the end of this past year, MJ Morris had stepped out of the lineup. He was going to transfer. Brennan Armstrong was exhausting his eligibility. They had Lex Thomas, and that's about it. And Lex Thomas had no experience playing in college football games at all. And I was probably seen more as a project that would be contributing down the line. They had a good recruit coming in C.J. Bailey, who's turned heads, but they didn't have their starter. And I don't care how good the rest of your lineup is. If you don't have a starting quarterback, I mean, you might as well start running the Wildcat, right? You better get the wing T out there. Now, Graham, and again, I know this from off air, he thought running back was the biggest issue. So Graham, plead your case for running back.
Well, I mean, when you just look at who the 2 leading rushers last year for NC State, I'm not trying to remind anybody of bad memories. Brandon Armstrong, Casey Concepcion, that was all their run game was. And when you look at their rushing yard totals, that 478 attempts, 4.3 average yard or 4.3 average per rush for 156 per game, only 19 rushing touchdowns last season.
And a lot of those stats were buoyed by the 2 guys you said, Brennan Armstrong and definitely Casey Concepcion. His rushing attack will raise the yards per carry and things because he was making so many big plays. I understand that running back needed to be solved. So I thought for this question, right, what was their biggest offseason need and did they fill it? We'll do both. And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. For quarterback, they brought in Grayson McCall. Now, is Grayson McCall the highest, the flashiest, the biggest name out of the transfer portal? No. Are there other bigger, flashier names that are more famous coming into even the ACC? Yes. Cam Ward going to Miami, preseason ACC Player of the Year. DJ Uiagalelei has been in Dr. Pepper commercials for like the last half decade. Goes to Florida State. Know him from Clemson and Oregon State. Grayson McCall, though, solves the problem that NC State had at quarterback, which is they've got a lot of guys that need to get the ball, and they need a reliable and stable distributor to make sure they're getting the ball in space. Robert Anae, the offensive coordinator of NC State, spoke to the media about that exact need to spread the ball around.
Man, there seems to be more pieces to make plays out there. So, yes, the emphasis is to spread the ball and and do that kind of thing with distribution. So still early to tell how good we're going to be from that regard, but we have a chance to put really good teamwork together. Obviously, going against a defense like ours, that forces that every play.
Got to distribute the ball. That's what Grayson McCall does. I love, and I actually saw this debate with Kurt Warner was in this debate on Twitter with somebody. He was saying he'd rather have the quarterback that just makes all the layups. I love like a 350-yard passing day with no highlights. Just that's what Grayson McCall is. No throws, right? I'm talking about you didn't have to, run to your left while throwing to your right, fit it into a small window. No, just every catch was on time, in rhythm. The highlights come from what the wide receiver does after you get him the ball. But it's just on time, in rhythm, make it happen. I love that. Graham, did they solve the running back?
I certainly think they did, just because when you look at the numbers that Jordan Waters put up last season at Duke, 153 attempts, 819 yards, 12 touchdowns, 83 his longest run that I believe he did have against NC State.
Which I asked him at ACC kickoff. He said he doesn't bring up that often to his teammates now, but he knows he has it in the chamber if they ever want to say something.
819 yards just with Jordan Waters. I feel like Brandon Armstrong and Casey Concepcion last season had a combined total of 819 yards with how much quarterback keeper we saw, Casey Concepcion and jet sweeps and screen passes. Now again, did they really have a choice last season? No. Outside of Casey Concepcion, that was really the offense for NC State. But I think this year, with Jordan Waters, an experienced ACC running back, it's going to help a lot. So I certainly think they have solved the problem at running back this season.
And then throw on top of that, Hollywood Smothers, who was a North Carolina recruit, spent 1 year at Oklahoma, meaning when I say North Carolina recruit, from the state of North Carolina, a West Charlotte kid, who ends up at Oklahoma for a year, transfers back to NC State. That's a little bit more depth at a position that got hit pretty hard by the transfer portal. So I think they had a goal with the running backs. I think it's a bit of bringing in the player to be the guy now in Jordan Waters, bringing in a player to learn, and then maybe be the guy starting next year in Hollywood Smothers, who has track speed and all those other things. North Carolina High School Player of the Year by the Charlotte Observer back in 2021. So, they did them both.